Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again. I do feel like I've bombarded you with loads of videos today because there's been 2 trailer reactions, a Doctor Who spin-off video, and now we're going to be talking about Disney Who. But, you know, I've got my cup of tea here because, honestly, there's a lot of information that's being released today, a lot of nerdy stuff. Obviously, I'm the Nerd Den, so I've got to cover it. But, yeah, Disney Doctor Who is officially over. That was confirmed earlier this week. I mean, a lot of people kind of expected it anyway because the show has just kind of gone in a direction where a lot of fans aren't really following it. It hasn't done so well internationally. The marketing for the recent season wasn't as what it was for the first season for this deal. And yeah, the show's headed in a general direction that is just hard for casual audiences to follow. But today, we're going to be looking at an article from Deadline where they talk about why the Disney deal has failed. So with all that being said, let's get into the video and let's talk about this because I feel like this is going to shine a light on why Disney Who is over. So yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so, an exclusive from Deadline. So, Donna Walden was in London earlier this month, but it's safe to say that renewing Doctor Who was not among the Disney Entertainment Chief's priorities. So, sources have been telling Deadline for more than a year that Disney has been lukewarm on the future, on the sci-fi series. And by Tuesday afternoon, it was official. The BBC confirmed that its Doctor Who co-production agreement had vaporised. So, what was conceived as a plan to Marvelise the franchise did not translate into a big bang. Instead, the partnership has died with a whimper, with Disney not even putting out a statement to mark its passing. So what doomed the Doctor Who deal and what comes next? So Deadline have spoken to multiple sources in Doctor Who's orbit who say that the Disney deal fell apart for a variety of reasons, including concerns over Cheetah Gatwa show's failure to break out from its established fan base and its big ticket budget. Others suspect that it's due to the politics surrounding the show and obviously diverse storytelling. But apparently it wasn't for the long term. That's what this quote is saying here. So it was pretty apparent that from the early stages that it wasn't from the long term, says a former Disney executive. Everyone got the impression that it wasn't doing what it needed to do on Disney Plus to be sustained. Another person close to Doctor Who adds that the writing has been on the wall for ages. There has been a complete lack of enthusiasm over at Disney. So this was originally announced in October 2022, shortly after The Power of the Doctor had aired. And this agreement was that Doctor Who was going to be brought into the streaming wars. And yeah, this was meant to be a big deal. So the show's budget was between £6 million, so $8.5 million, and £8 million per episode. And we understand that putting the value of the deal was at roughly £168 million, which is a lot of money. So the former Mouse House employee notes that a lack of marketing firepower behind the brand, nowhere near as the might of Marvel and Star Wars, created something of a chicken and egg scenario whereby it became harder for Doctor Who to cut through to American audiences. Because yeah, it is a British show at the end of the day. And it certainly wasn't being shouted about as being a big success. An executive at BBC Studios, which owns Doctor Who and oversees international sales, says that it never felt like Disney were making much of a deal about the iconic sci-fi series, which, yeah, it's been on screens now for over 60 years. And they were saying as well that there's a lot of marketing muscle that was put behind the show. But the ratings, yeah, what everyone seems to love these days, wherever you are in the world. Not even just about Doctor Who, but Doctor Who's always been spoken about when it comes to ratings, especially in these days. So, yeah, Doctor Who, the viewership numbers simply weren't good enough. And it was described as one of the flops of 2024 in terms of Disney's catalogue released that year. So, alarmingly, there was a lot of people dropping off in terms of viewership numbers as well. So season 15, aka season 2, averaged 3.8 million viewers according to the gold standard 28-day viewing figures from Barb, which is the UK's official ratings agency. So they were dropping off in the UK anyway. and that was a decline of 1 million on the prior season. So yeah, this was starring Ncuti Gatwa and produced by Jane Tranter's Bad Wolf. And both seasons were down by Jodie Whittaker's concluding season in 2021, which was watched by 5.2 million people. So I do feel like there is a little bit of Doctor Who fatigue as well when it comes to general audiences as well. And the ratings weren't up by much. And that's coming from someone who they've spoken to here. So whilst the BBC drama boss Lindsay Soul thanked Disney for being a terrific global partner, the Mouse House was not nearly as glowing, with a spokesman simply confirming that the BBC statement and noting that Gatwa's seasons will remain on Disney Plus outside the UK for the time being. Sources tell us that the BBC and Disney had initially planned to make a statement about Doctor Who's future after the premiere of the spin-off series The War Between Land and Sea, but Disney moved the announcement up, which, to be fair, was the better option. It's better to get it out there sooner rather than later, especially when the writing is on the walls. They've clearly sat down and made a final decision in the past week or so, but it's been on the cards for a very long time, says Tony Jordan, who runs the Doctor Who Appreciation Society and speaks to the show's fan base every day. Jordan says that Whovians believe Gatwa's seasons have been a bit patchy. There were strong episodes in both, but the two-part finales were not particularly well regarded. I do agree there. A lack of episodes made it difficult for audiences to get to know Ncuti and his companions to really develop their storylines. So yeah, you don't spend a lot of time with them at all, and because there's two seasons and some of the choices with the story arcs and stuff, it just didn't work. But yeah, Ncuti Gatwa left after 2 seasons, but blamed being burnt out, with the 33-year-old saying that he was getting old and his body was tired. And a Doctor Who source says the show suffered because Gatwa was never able to fully embrace the role. And yeah, you've got the ambassador there for the brand who needs to embrace it to become that generation's Doctor. Obviously, Matt Smith and David Tennant were able to do so, but for some reason, Ncuti wasn't able to do so, according to this source here. And also, this article does go on to mention about politics as well. Obviously, with America and its political landscape, would the show be able to do well over in America? And also, simply, would an American company want to fund it as well? Which, again, all real-world factors that are worth considering as well when it comes to, this era of Doctor Who. So, but Doctor Who does have a post-Disney reset. So we've got a recently announced 2026 Christmas special. But beyond that, Jordan thinks that fresh blood might be required, because it does look like, again, it's not confirmed, that Russell will be leaving after the special. But Jordan saying here, nothing says that Russell will be the showrunner from 2027 onwards. It might be time for a new showrunner to take it forwards, and committing to a Christmas special that is still 15 months away buys the BBC time to ponder how to push that now that it has lost a hefty chunk of its Doctor Who budget. Because Doctor Who has never had a big budget, but from the Disney side of things, apparently a lot of that was to make the episodes 4K. Which, again, I'm not entirely sure how that works in terms of why a lot of the budget was allocated to that, when you can, maybe work on making longer episodes, maybe, or, different sort of storylines or whatever. But, yeah, we've now got Billie Piper as the Doctor anyway, and that's something that's going to be addressed, apparently, in the Christmas special. Again, not confirmed, but apparently. So the BBC will be able to spend 2.5 million to 3 million per episode, which could work at around about 1 million per episode from the BBC's own pocket, and any additional coming from the BBC Studios distribution in advance, which is a tricky market for drama funding. So this would see Doctor Who's budget slashed by around half from the Disney days. But Doctor Who has done it before, and cheaper episodes are kind of where they're at the best anyway. Like Season 14 till Season 1's 73 yards was praised a lot. But I do feel like Doctor Who's big budgets as well, like the big budget episodes, focuses more on visuals and showing off rather than actual storytelling and kind of putting that on the back burner. Doctor Who has always been a cheap show, but it survived by being a cheap show. And yeah, it gets more expensive, but that's with inflation and stuff. So I do feel like, Doctor Who will still happen. Obviously, the BBC have now officially confirmed that. But yeah, it's not going to look as good as the Disney days, but it's not going to look terrible either. So there we go. That is the reason or reasons why Disney have pulled out of the Doctor Who deal. Which, let's be honest, like a lot of it is down to the fact that it simply wasn't successful internationally. That was the main concept of the deal, is to get Doctor Who to international audiences. That's what Disney wanted. It didn't work. There you go. Yeah, it just hasn't worked, unfortunately. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you are new around here, please click that like button and subscribe for more nerdy content, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for all support as always, and goodbye for now.